Black Adam shows up to all this desolation and all these horrible like people distraught and dead and hurt, and he's like, "I was right. Superman, you're
Y'all
not
some
ready to leave
scrubs.
the Justice League. Nightwing, this is all your fault." And it's just like, damn, like you're a nasty man. Like I see why no one ever
Yeah.
like brought you on the team. So that was really mean of him. But then we also fly out to space and we see uh what's that man's name? Hal Jordan with that girl,
Yes.
Janelle Monet.
Joe.
Yeah, her.
Joe.
Her. They're like
Yeah.
they run into Kyle Rayner.
Yes. They go
I'm
off
like,
and rescue
wow.
him. I absolutely loved when he was he's all right, all right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of another relaunch. Oh, this week I am going to be Electra Nachos, Queen Assassin of them all.
Oh.
But what's funny?
Oh, Electra and Queen. I will be. I'll be Echo.
Oh.
My little.
All right. We'll allow
How are you today?
it. I'm great. I am having a pretty great week. Although I'm gonna have to start going back into the office soon, and I don't really like that part. Like I've just been so used to working from home every day. It's only like a couple days a week, so that's not too bad. But
That's not. But I think that's what a lot of
I
companies
also
are
just
trying
don't
to
want
do.
to work. So
I feel that too. Just side things for me. But no, I know a lot of companies are like they have gone back into the office, quote unquote, but it's really only like 2 or 3 times a week, if even that. I've talked to so many bosses, and they say they're like, I don't want to be back in the office. So, and they're like, they know if they make their people come back, then they gotta come back, and they're just like, no, it's okay.
yeah. And who wants to do that? I know I don't. So like,
But I was about to
I'm
say,
not
on
really
the
feeling
flip
that.
side of that, I have also met quite a few people who like love being in the office. And they tell me all the time, they're like, "Oh, I couldn't be productive at home." Like they're
Ugh.
lonely a lot of the times. Also, they're just like, "I just didn't want to be in the house anymore." And I'm just like,
See,
"Well,
those are the kind of coworkers that always like come up to you and like want to talk and stuff in the office, and that's not me.
I'm one of those people. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a very friendly person."
Oh no.
I love
Oh
like
no.
water cooler small talk, like all of that. Tell me about your weekend. Like I'm not gonna tell you about mine, but like yes, please let me know what you did. Like I think that's so interesting. Don't show me pictures
No.
of your kids though. That one I could do without.
I feel like people at my old jobs like thought I didn't like them because I was just like, don't talk to me.
Well, it's like, but I like treat my coworkers like I'm not gonna say my friends, but like I try and be nice to a lot of them because I realize like I'm gonna be around you a lot of the time anyway, so I feel like I should get along. And if I don't get along with you, then it's like no, don't, and they can tell, which is why I get in trouble.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get started with these updates for the week. And speaking of Echo, we see that Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio have been reporting to be returning to the MCU, and they'll be in the Echo TV series. Now, I feel like we are kind of already figured that,
Yeah.
right? Like we've kind of figured that Daredevil and Kingpin would appear in her show. I don't know if what they're gonna do with Kingpin, considering the end of Hawkeye.
Hmm.
They kind of left it open ended what happened between her and Kingpin. But we know that Echo used to date Daredevil, right? Daredevil, he'd be bagging them.
He does. It's the sad boy thing. All the girls think they can
Mm,
fix him.
I like it.
Mhm.
Been there before.
Yeah.
Are you excited for their return? Are you excited for the Daredevil MCU debut?
Is
No.
is is this still considered? Is the Echo Show considered Phase 4?
I don't know when it comes out actually, but I don't think so.
Then
I don't know when this current phase ends. I'm not sure. It used to end, they would cap it with a an Avengers movie or some big team up movie, but they haven't really announced any of those yet. So
Anything that's in phase 4, I'm like, I'm not really here for. I'm just keeping my prayers up for phase 5. So if we're in phase 5, I'll stay optimistic.
Yes, I agree. I don't want any more of my faves to debut during this phase.
I'm okay.
I'm good. I'm Gucci on all that because like Taskmaster was in phase 4 and like, ooh, we don't like that. So, I'd rather wait till the course correction happens, when everybody's like, we got to fix this. Let's bring in some new creators to turn the ship around. And that's what I like.
Love.
Oh, is the Marvels considered phase 4?
Yes.
February.
Yeah, they're phase 4. Oh no, that's Blue Marvel.
Yeah.
Damn. The MCU gonna have to see me.
Yeah. They probably won't do too. They'll probably just. I don't know. I'm not even gonna.
It hasn't been up to par.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of more MCU updates, there have been some Namor. I don't know if you want to call that like concept art. It's not really. Who knows if it's official, but it seems as though it might be, especially considering the things we saw in Thor: Love and Thunder, which we'll be talking about later. But there were some leaks of Namor as well as Atuma and Namora, and it looks as though the character Namor is going to be really based in like Mayan culture, and I think it looks pretty cool.
I do too. It looks good. He looks good. Like if that's how he's gonna look in the movie, like I'm here for it. Like the whole and I'm not a Namor fan at all, so I was moved.
Damn. Really, you don't like Namor? Even his X-Men appearances?
No.
I like his attitude.
He's not for me. No, he's not for me. And then like the little wings on the feet, I don't like those either.
I feel as though those were just he's from 1939, I think is when he was created. I think, they was doing whatever back then. So they just put some wings on his feet to explain that he can fly. I'm interested. I think that the wings on his feet in this like art looks pretty good. I think that he they look like the look works better with wings on his feet here, with the way that he's dressed and everything. It looks really cool. So we'll see. I'm not really sure how I feel about Black Panther 2 yet. So
I don't feel anything, honestly. I'm excited to see Lupita on my screen again.
Yes, Queen.
And Denai. And I'm also excited to see Michaela Coel make her.
Oh yes.
That's my girl. I do love her. So I'm excited for like that little trio, but the movie itself and everything, I don't know. We'll see how they do that, because I don't know if you've noticed, but they just announced a new Black Panther series. It's not Black Panther. It's just called Wakanda, and it's gonna have like Shuri and like all the people of the nation kind of highlighting the story. Like apparently T'Challa is getting kicked out of Wakanda, and like. If there's one thing I've noticed about Black Panther books, it's like the people of Wakanda do not actually like that man. They are always.
No, they don't. I was gonna say this is a very quintessential T'Challa story. They always are like, go meet your Avengers there.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like kind of interesting because Marvel and DC, they love their synergy with the comic book. So it's like as we kind of get into Black Panther 2 and like Wakanda Forever, and then now the series is coming out, seems like T'Challa's going to be sidelined a little bit in the comic books as well, and it'll be like interesting of when they'll course correct that, so to speak, because all of Chadwick, rest in peace, he did a fantastic job. I personally do think they should recast.
I don't think that the character should cease to be, because if we're going to be honest, there are like 2, 3 prominent Black characters in the Marvel universe at all, and it's Storm and Black Panther.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people want to see that relationship play out. You want to see like the Storm and Black Panther marriage. Maybe if Namor does debut, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he actually has been recast, and like it'll be the surprise of the movie. Don't keep that a secret.
Yeah. Who
I don't
knows?
know. The timeline's gonna be a mess. The first Black Panther had everybody in shambles for about 6 months, so
Yes, it did.
the
I mean, we'll be
DS4.
finding out soon. You know, they are going to be returning to San Diego Comic-Con, so and
Do you think we'll
I
get a
assume
trailer?
they'll be dropping. Yeah, I think so.
Mm, I can see that. We'll see.
We'll definitely see.
We'll stay
Um,
optimistic.
and last but not least, a little bit of an update from the Captain America corner. The Captain America 4 has found a director with Julius Onah, who is a Nigerian director who did Cloverfield Paradox, if you're familiar with that kind of like thriller action kind of movie. So how do you feel as the, Sam Wilson stand here
I'm
about
excited.
this? Yeah.
I
Him
am.
getting his own Captain America movie?
I am very excited for it. You know my feelings on Anthony Mackie.
Right.
And just like the type of actor and person he is and his portrayal as Cap and Sam and all that. But I still like it. I enjoy it for what it was. I was just rewatching Falcon and the Winter Soldier the other day. I do think like the thing that's funny is the articles that come out about him in this role, and like they just refuse to call him Captain America. And it's like you can
And
just
well,
say it. It's like it's okay. We're gonna see it like on the movie, on the title screen, all that. It's gonna say that. I hope they call it Symbol of Truth to match the comic.
oh,
Period.
I didn't even think about that.
And I'm
That's
excited for the
cool.
future. Like, the Isaiah Bradley stuff I liked in the show. We might get some Patriot. I don't know if he's still behind a lot of that legal red tape, but we got a little bit of him. I'm excited to see more Joaquin and Falcon and just all that. I'm here. The suit look good. I'm
You
interested to
think
see
they'll
how
give
they'll like.
Joaquin of his own Falcon suit?
I hope so. I like his little Falcon green suit with the helmet. I love a headpiece. So it's like
Yeah.
but I also am interested to see how they kind of update his Captain America look. Because as we know in the comics, he's only ever had that one. It's an
True.
iconic
Yes.
design. It's not going anywhere. But it's like, you think about the MCU, even like with Carol, they changed the way her suit looked around a little bit with some of her appearances and stuff like that. So I'm anxious to see how they do
Yeah.
it.
They gotta sell toys.
They do
They
have to
gotta
sell
sell
toys.
different costumes and all that different stuff. So I'm sure he'll get multiple. I wonder what they will look like.
Yeah, it's like really interesting because again, he's never had a look in the comics, which I also think it would be nice to give him like a new suit in the comics. Again, like I think that his Captain America suit is similar to Carol's Captain Marvel suit, where it's kind of like this might just be the look for the rest of their career.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
like,
if you think about it, wasn't Steve's Captain America suit basically like that? They just kind of like would tweak it every now and then and make some small variations, but it's
yeah,
mostly the same
it's
silhouette.
using the same, and it's like crazy because I like when he gets his more combat gear look with the like chest piece and this guy's helmet. That's cool, but
Yeah.
I see why they changed it around, but I don't know. I do think that's the thing. I would like to see something else, or like just maybe move some of the colors around a little bit. I think white is one of Sam's good colors. Like when he used to have his red and white Falcon suits. Oh, but a white suit also is like.
Yes. Yeah. It's your bread and butter. You love a white suit.
If it's a white suit, I'm gonna be there. So if they wanted to put a little bit more of that in there, and like maybe do some other things with the red and blue, I wouldn't be mad at that either. Or
We
even
definitely
they could emphasize the red more too, because his previous suits were red.
Oh, that's true.
Mm.
I wonder if that's why they went more white, so they didn't like look like his previous suits.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It's a good color.
Yeah. It's hot. He's getting his own movie, so that's exciting. And now that they have a director attached, they'll probably be finishing up like the different drafts of the writing and probably will start filming it, 2024? Probably?
Yes. That's phase 5.
Definitely. That's phase 5 for sure. That'll be the course correction phase for sure. All right, y'all. That's all the news we got this week. Let's take a little break and then we'll come right back.
Ooh. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to your favorite part of the show. Oh no, the relaunch is your favorite part of the show. Maybe comic reviews might be. I don't know.
All of it is.
All of it is.
Period.
It was kind of a light week after like the last two heavy loads that we got, which was like nice. It was easy to kind of get through. And we had other stuff going on. Miss Marvel was out, which I kind of forgot to watch. I'm not gonna lie, but that's okay. We'll talk about it later. And Love and Thunder and all of those, which we're also going to talk about later. So let's go ahead and get to the books of the week that we did have, and we're going to start out with Dark Crisis #2, and that comes from Joshua Williamson and Daniel Samperi, whose art is just like it. King. And Alejandro Sanchez is on the colors, which is like also amplifies Samperi's art. It's just like they're doing it. This is like an all-star team, and this issue was just like a big blowout. You saw at the end of the last issue of Dark Crisis, Slade and a bunch of the villains were attacking Titan's tower, and this is where we get it. Like Slade and those villains are in there, they're fighting. I don't read the Titans Academy.
They said fuck them kids.
Okay, so I didn't know who, like a lot of these kids were. I was like going through pages. I was like, who is this? Like, why is this person here? But then I was like, oh, these must be the kids from the academy. But they was like fighting back a little bit. So shout out to them for getting some good training. And throughout it all, we just kind of see that Pariah. I always want to call him Parasite. Pariah is talking to Slade, and he's like, don't kill the heroes. I need them for something else. It's like,
he needs the darkness.
He needs the darkness, so he's like, let them go. But like, even so, just the fighting in between all of that was like really well done. Perry's layouts.
Nightwing's fight with Deathstroke. Oh man.
When Deathstroke is about to shoot Nightwing, and John flies in at the last second to stop the bullet. Classic.
I gasped. I audibly gasped. And when he said, "You missed," I was like, "Oh yes, this is what I like." Okay, this is my kind of event.
I think it was very nasty at the end of the battle and everything like that. Black Adam shows up to all this desolation and all these horrible, like, people distraught and dead and hurt, and he's like, "I was right. Superman, you're not ready to leave the Justice League. Nightwing, this is all your fault." And it's just like, damn, like, you're a nasty man. Like, I see why no one ever like wants you on the team. So that was really mean of him. But then we also fly out to space and we see, what's that man's name? Hal Jordan with that girl.
Yes.
Janelle Monáe.
Joe.
Yeah, her. Her. They're like, they run into Kyle Rayner.
Yes. They go off and rescue him. I absolutely loved when he was he's like breaking out of some prison or something, and he took a prisoner's gun and he obviously like shot him, but he's like coming back and helping him, and he's like, had that been John or Guy, they would have just let you to die, but he's like, I'm the artistic one, and he John would have.
He would have
kept it moving,
but that's fine. But we also had a big moment for you. I could tell, like, at the end when we saw all those lanterns together, when it was like Kyle and they're like, "Oh, I brought back up." I was like, "Oh, this is like an LC
book." Absolutely. And he Hal presenting Kyle with his ring, like, we got some business we got to take care of. The Justice League are dead. We got to do some stuff, and the backup is here. The cavalry is here. So I loved it.
The lanterns be dying a lot too.
They do. And when I looked at this lineup here, it's kind of the scrub lanterns. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. But they can probably do something. You might have to call in Mogul. I don't know if he died.
We'll see. What would you rate this issue?
Oh, 5 out of 5. Daniel Samperi is one of my favorite artists by far. And I'm just really enjoying this event. Like, it feels like a fun summer event.
I think I'll actually agree with you, and especially on the Samperi front. I love this art. Again, if you never read the Future State Aquaman book that he did with Jackson and Andy, you should go back and read that. He was doing Action Comics for the first half of that year, and that story.
Definitely read that.
Yeah, like, absolutely read that. Aquaman was also in that too. Him and Clark was beefing. It was good. I think I'm gonna go back and read that first half again because that was.
It was good. Yeah.
But that's it. Next, Batman 25. You read a Batman book?
Yes, I did. I put a Batman book on my list. And this was, I used to read Batman, like a lot of the Tom King stuff. I think I read some of the Snyder stuff. Batman is just classic. Like, he's good. And, but he's always one where I've always felt like I can come back and read his stuff. Like I didn't necessarily have to keep up with it month to month because it was always so good, and I can just kind of come back to it. But they had a new run by Chip Zdarsky and Phil Jimenez, and I was like, you know what?
Oh, that's a good
I like
team.
Chip. I like Phil, and I'm sorry, not Phil Jimenez. I think Phil just did the cover. Interiors were. Hang on. Let me find the page.
I didn't know.
It's Jorge Jimenez, not Phil.
Oh, him. Oh, that's still a good team. He's also a very good
Yes.
artist.
Yes, very handsome man too. And I first of all, I kind of enjoyed it. So I don't know if Batman might be back on my pull list because this was pretty good. It's like it starts off with kind of a flashback story. We see there's this like machine or something that goes off in the Batcave that is noticed, but like obviously it's in the past because it says like this is happening in the past, and we see that Batman is having this wild dream about these three Jokers that came and like killed all the Bat fam, but then it turns out to be a dream. He goes off and there is some missions that he was doing with Robin, and it is Tim Drake Robin. So this is obviously like kind of in the past. But it turns out that someone, and we find out that someone is Penguin, is going after like the billionaires in Gotham. And I'm not sure what happened in the past, but something where Bruce doesn't have all his money anymore. But so he isn't necessarily being targeted. But Penguin is like going after all of the billionaires and all the people who makes a lot of money because he feels as though they never like clawed their way up the way he did. And like, basically a quintessential villain story where he is like, I just want to go after some people and he's killing people. There were definitely a lot of murders that happened up in this. And so Tim and Bruce go on this mission. Bruce is Bruce, and he's still got an invite to this one gala because I guess he's still got a little bit of money. And he's like playing the Bruce role. Tim is like sneaking in and taking out some guards back there to try to help. Batman he appears because Penguin says, I'm going to kill these people. So Bruce turns into Batman and all hell breaks loose. There's a big fight and Tim gets shot in the neck. And Bruce is like freaking out. He's like, I've had this happen before with a Robin and I can't keep doing this like with these kids. So he takes him over to the hospital and the entire time Tim is like, we can't do this. You're going to get caught. And Bruce is like, I'm not going to lose you. So they go to the hospital. And then we flash forward back to our time, and it looks like there was like some kind of failsafe robot thing that was in the Batcave, and that's what ends up being activated back in our time now. So I'm not really sure exactly what that is. I think there was a time when Bruce died, and there was like a robot Batman that kind of took over his position. So I don't know if that has anything to do with this, and it's just been activated or something, and they got to probably fight it. I don't know, but we'll see. I was really into this issue. Jorge's art was really great. I also like Zdarsky. His Batman, his take on Batman is pretty great. There's a backup story in this by Chip Zdarsky, and the art is by Belen Ortega, and it's a Catwoman story. So basically, what happened? Penguin, since he's no longer alive, he has something called the Ice Lounge, and I guess like that is some lounge that she used to go to, but the people there are like acting wild and being crazy. So she's like, I will go and settle this because I want the people in my area to be safe. And they end up meeting someone called the Underbroker. I don't know if that's a Catwoman villain or something. But there's an underbroker, and he's got this attorney who he's called the Executor, and it's a robot, and he's kind of funny. But long story short, he has to deliver the will of Penguin, and part of his will is he has to find the kids of Penguin, and he goes out to Catwoman to help her find Penguin's kids.
Oh, so this is going to be like a continuing backup.
It's a continuing backup Catwoman story where she's going to be going around and probably, I don't know what's going on with the kids. I don't know and the robot doesn't necessarily what he has to do in the will. He just needs help finding the kids. So I don't know if he's going to find them and try to kill them and she's got to stop him, or who knows. But it's a pretty fun Catwoman story.
Maybe I'll pick it up for the Catwoman.
She looks hot. I also like the art.
They're really like DC and these backups is really trying to get me because they know I don't want to read
Mm.
this book, even though I do like Chip Zdarsky and I like Jorge Jimenez. I just don't want to read about Batman right now. But they know I'm gonna read about Selena.
The Catwoman backup is really hot too, and she's she was like in her apartment, and this is I don't know when this is. I think this is also in the past. Yes, because Penguin is dead. So she's like in her apartment. She's not dating Bruce. They're not like married or anything now. So she's just hanging out in her t-shirt with her cats, and I think you like it.
I know, especially because her main series isn't really hitting right now.
Mm. Chip does a great job.
But whatever, we'll see. What would you rate this issue?
I would give this issue a 4 out of 5. I think I'm
Okay.
going to at least check out this first arc. I want to see what's going on with Batman.
Okay, shout out to that. Good, if you're a fan of Chip, if you're a fan of Batman, go ahead and go pick that out. Before I get into the last book of the week, I did want to do two quick shout outs. DC vs. Vampires #7 has come back, and that is still an amazing series that I think everyone should read. Vampires are coming back on the horizon, you guys, so like get ready for that and all the content that will be coming with it. Also, Nubia and the Amazons #2 came out. This is like just still continuing to like delve into Nubia's backstory. Yara and the Esquisita showed up, so it's the dolls. I was
Oh,
really into
cool.
that. Those are my girls that came to help their Amazon queen, so like we love them for that. And there was also another issue of the Excellent, but people keep telling me that they don't like that book. So I don't know.
But what happened? I thought people wanted books about, the mutants with like
I
physical
think
mutations.
I think the Excellent is like very like on brand but off brand at the same time,
Um,
and it's one of those things where it's like weird. It's like how Doom Patrol is like weird.
oh,
Like
okay, yeah.
that's what the Excellent is. And so if you're not really into that, then you probably won't be into it. But like it's cool. So I think people should pick it up. But our final book of the week is actually Poison Ivy #2, and that comes from G. Willow Wilson with art from Marcel Takar. And let me tell you, this is a
Shout
series.
out to DC.
Shout
Wow.
like they really kind of like cleared this week for me. Like if ever
Yeah, same.
had like, and this Poison Ivy book is so good. So this issue, Poison Ivy, it's like dealing with a lot of dichotomy of like what she's doing and answering those questions that a lot of people have had about Pamela over the years. Like she talks about how people think she's vegan, and she's like, "No, I'm very much a carnivore." And she talks about like all of the ways that they make vegan and vegetarian foods, and like how it actually like hurts certain things, and so that's why she doesn't go against it. And they show her like killing some people who are part of those processes. We also kind of get these flashbacks of her and Harley, and she's talking about, I do love Harley. I love all these people. I love this stuff, but like I love the earth more, and like that's just what it is. And so then we flash back to the present. She's like in the midst of creating her extinction event. She's spreading these things called the Lumia spores into all of the people who are sitting in this diner that she's just hanging out in. And she talks about how as they leave, they'll meet their neighbors, they'll go shake someone's hand, they'll go talk to somebody else. And once they do that, they'll spread these pores and they'll just continue to spread throughout the entire world. And once she activates them, all these people are going to die. And she meets people in these diners. Like this one girl comes and randomly sits and talks to her, and she's like, I do poetry and it's not really working out, so I'm trying to get a job. And she talks about history and how Vikings thought people were trees, and like Ivy's having her internal monologue, and she's like, these aren't bad people, like they're just caught up in the web. And she's like, I have to remind myself that this death that I'm giving them is actually going to be gentler and nicer than what they'll face, because the earth is going to shit. And hey, like,
See.
like everything's on fire and this is what's going on. She's like, I just got to do this because this is what I got to do. The police end up coming into the diner. They're actually looking for the girl that she met who does the poetry, and they like have a quick moment, but she spreads her spores into the cops, kills them. She goes on about her way. As she gets on, she's like, I got to stay focused on my goal. I got to do what I need to do. But we also find out that somebody might be following her, and that the ruin that they talked about when they were talking about trees and stuff like that, that's burned into the wall. And so she's like looking back. She's like, is it Batman? What's going on? But she's like, no. She's like, he found me out here. But she realized like, no, he wouldn't have saw that. So like she realized somebody else is following her. So like we get into that, and that's where the issue ends. But I'm just really enjoying this. I know there have been some complaints about the series. People don't really like Poison Ivy still being, I guess, this villainous. They've seen her more as like an anti-hero, and they've seen her become a little bit softer, especially in her relationship with Harley and the way she operates. And this is the Ivy who is very much like, yes, I still have a lot of those tendencies in me, but you got to remember that I'm going to do what I need to do. And like, she is doing that. She is killing people. And even so, like I said, there's still the monologue of the internal conflict of how she says, is this what I should be doing? Like, she talks about how she sees this family leaving the diner and they're getting into their car, and she's like, I feel like a tingle on the back of my neck. So like, this is wrong. I shouldn't be doing it. But again, she's like, never mind. I got to do it. Like, the earth is going to hell. I got to kill them off and let it reset. So it's a really good story. I will honestly give this like a 5 out of 5 for real. Marcio Takara, his art is like fantastic, especially when he gets like his face, his close-ups of Ivy's face. The acting of that is like amazing. We get some flashback scenes that look really, really good. The way he changed her costume, the way he does her powers. Like, I just really enjoyed this series altogether. I highly recommend it.
Okay, I'll definitely get that for some Ivy content. And I personally like villainous Ivy. And granted, yes, her girlfriend is Harley Quinn, but Harley a villain. So like
and it's like, and I'm also glad that, we emphasize that she loves Harley. And that's her girl, but she also has her own life.
Good, yes. She deserves to have that.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, those were the comics of the week. Let's go ahead and take a break, and then we'll come right back.
You want to do your book club?
Oh yeah, I forgot about them kids. I'm gonna leave that in because I truly forgot about them kids. I got some things to say actually.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, so this book club we were reading New X-Men issues 4 through 9, and I don't know. This series is kind of rough. It seems to be doing a lot of uplifting of Emma but at the expense of like the people around her. I'm not the biggest Mirage Danny fan, but like it seems as though Emma is being like elevated while Danny is not, in my opinion.
So I do agree with you in the sense that it's rough because for the time it came out, the writers who did it and like what the story content is about. The Emma thing, I don't know. I feel like if we're being real here, I feel like that's been Emma's thing since she came onto the X-Men. There's always being uplifted in spite of everyone else, and everyone else gets dumber.
Yes, it's like all of a sudden everybody around her just doesn't make right decisions except her.
Yeah, like that's like been a consistent thing since Emma Frost has been around. For some reason, writers get her and she becomes this infallible white woman who just like does everything and does everything correctly, even though she's failing.
That's the thing I don't ever get either. She's failing at all of this. Like these kids, well, I know what's gonna happen to these kids, but it happens on her watch.
Oh yeah,
like
she gets kids killed all the time.
And then, it seems like there was like a beef between Monet. Not Monet. Danny and Emma in this, and Danny like used her powers on Decay at one point. Like I guess that was a past thing that happened before, and they had like a recap of it here. And she like used her illusion powers on him because he was using his powers on people, and that just didn't seem like Danny to me. Am I right or wrong?
I mean, I can see that. I can see that a little
bit. And then I also didn't feel like I liked the way Cyclops was being written in this. Again, every time Emma was around, he was making the dumber decision while she was making the better one. And anytime anybody tried to check Emma, like Ron at one point was like getting upset with her, and Cyclops had to step in and like, no, that's not how you talk to her. And
well, that also feels accurate though. Scott wouldn't let anybody talk to Emma like that.
That's fair. Yeah,
but like not.
I don't know. It just seemed like he never made any right decisions in this.
I also think, well, again, I think that is like a part of that whole thing with Emma. Like everybody kind of gets dumber around her. But I also think about that time, and that was like Emma and Scott restarting the school, like being everywhere, doing it like they were the big bosses. They were kind of annoying.
Mm. Yeah, I guess that's fair. They were being the bigger bosses here. But I don't know. But also, what about Danny in this? She like handed over Decay to the FBI after like,
Oh, Wither.
yeah, with her, my fault.
Like,
Sorry. I told I be
um,
forgetting these kids. A lot of them aren't that memorable. A lot of them feel like they're very tropes in this.
Wither was not memorable. I will agree with you there. He was memorable when he became more of a villain. Spoiler alert.
Oh,
But
if he gonna be a villain, he should stay that way.
not not during these writers' iterations of the characters. Like after all the new X-Men in the house. I mean, well, I guess it starts here. No, no. I mean, the seeds are planted here, and it starts here. But it continues on after like decimation and all that stuff goes on. But like, I don't know. Danny, yeah, that feels right. Turning him over. Like, yeah.
Damn.
Like she would still look
Okay.
at it as like, oh, he killed somebody, and like, but I think about like how a lot of people in write superheroes and like their relationships to cops and like the justice system, and that it will do the right thing, and it's like that's not gonna happen.
But she is one to think like, oh, it's gonna do the right, like this is the right thing to do.
Like it was just your powers. Like we know that like if we don't turn you over, it's gonna cause a bigger problem than it actually would. Like more people are gonna come here. It's gonna be a thing like let's do this. Let's get it situated. Let's get you home safely. And then, but again, I think that's a part of the story that we'll see with Wither and Danny and the relationship that they have.
Okay. I guess that's not bad. I did like the fact that the two squads had the little challenge out on like their little field day trip. That was kind of cool to see. Hellion instantly
Beautiful.
him like character I really like. I like him. He gave that whole speech in the cafeteria about,
Yes, he would.
rally up. I like that. I appreciate that. Mercury is his homegirl. I like that. I like her too. Um,
She's cool. She's got girl power.
um, Surge.
Queen.
Does she turn it around? Because she's kind of a nasty girl.
That's fine. I don't know.
She's kind of a mean girl to Dust, and I don't think I like it.
She is like really mean to Dust for no reason.
Dust doesn't do anything but exist there, and
But
then all of a
like,
sudden she's like, Dust could be sitting there doing nothing, and the Surge would look at her and be like, "Did you just call me a whore?" Like, girl, no.
I think no, but I think a big part of Noriko's story is that Noriko came to the mansion and she had a lot of anger. And like she like yes, she was and like Dust honestly just was kind of like in the line of sight. Like you were my roommate, you kind of like we kind of got off on the wrong foot of like what we thought like was appropriate in womanhood and all that stuff, and it just continued to go from there. I think a big part of Noriko's story is that like she never really gets over the anger, but she learns how to work through it better. And her does have like we'll see. We'll continue as we continue the story. But she definitely is a little mean.
She's kind of a mean girl.
But that's fine. Somebody has to be sometimes.
It's not too bad. Like I said, these kids are all right. Feral girl, you're getting played by Elixir.
He's a nasty boy. He's a nasty boy. And her name is Wallflower.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, I just know how to pheromone girl.
The pheromone, the thing about her powers is like pheromone powers I think are like kind of interesting and cool. And they do some stuff with her.
Cool.
And yeah. I think like, altering somebody's body chemistry, like having control of that, that's kind of that's hot. I think about like Stacey.
Like, what are you gonna do if I spray some Jimmy Choo blue? Then what?
I don't think that's how that works. I don't think that's how that works. But I understand what you're saying. But like the girl should also know combat. So
I would hope so. Her
like
pheromones are just like you have to smell that.
People
What you gonna do with a gust of wind? Then what?
Well, she'll blow them back.
How?
That's the pheromones are there. It's stuck. It doesn't matter. Even Dak can have pheromone powers that he would use on people. That's how he would like manipulate
powers
them.
don't work well because you can alter them easily.
You'll actually see the effect of the pheromone powers as we continue on in this. Thank you.
They already showed her in this where someone just blew her pheromones away, and it didn't.
Well, that was on purpose.
She sucks. I'm sorry. Hopefully,
You'll see.
maybe she gets something better later in this series, but we'll see.
Her powers stay the same. The way she uses them is a lot better.
Maybe she gets more interesting. I don't know.
She's
the.
What do you mean?
Not to me. Not to me. Pheromone girl don't have it.
It's because you don't like. We won't go there. Go ahead.
Do you like Icarus? He seems to be kind of just off back in the background. He wasn't really feeling Hellion. I don't really know the future. Do they use him often? I actually not even just the feature of this book, but like in the Krakoa sense. Is he around?
He showed up that one time for Arrow's Crucible issue.
Oh, right. Right.
Spoiler alert. But spoiler alert, he dies.
Right. He was like from the bus, right? Or
no, he died before the bus, the issue before the bus, or after the bus, or they found his body before or after. Regardless, he died. He like was tricked by Stryker, and they like cut his wings off, and he dies. And then he gets shot. And he dies. It's fine. He's back now.
Right. They were really putting them kids through it, I see.
They were.
But, a trial by fire sometimes is necessary. It makes them more interesting.
It's hot.
Maybe that's when Pheromone Girl will be, like, more interesting.
I never forget, like, when I was reading those issues back in the day, like, again, like, reading Academy X, it's a very, like, not slice of life, but it's fun. It's, like, teen drama. You know what I'm saying?
It's very teen drama, yes.
It's giving you, like...
It's very Degrassi,
we just happen to have powers. And then decimation happens and the shift happens. And the shift was very much like, things are real, y'all are mutants, things are bad, y'all are dying by the truckload.
I like that.
Yeah. But I think to really appreciate that post-decimation stuff, you have to kind of have this. Because like to see that the kids like, oh yeah, they have problems, but it was like, these are just stupid teen problems. Your boyfriend's playing you, you and your roommate not getting along, like you kind of like not doing your homework, whatever. Then it's like, oh, actually,
yeah, people like gonna like shoot you.
And so I think, and honestly, I think that's a big reason why a lot of people have such a strong affinity for the new X-Men team, because you did watch these kind of characters grow and go through that trial by fire. I think it's about something like the Teen Titans back in the day, the George Perez and Wolfman stuff. Like, yeah. You saw it was very similar to that. So you grow that attachment. You watch them grow. You watch Lori go from this like meek girl to kind of finding her voice and being able to stand up to people a little bit more. You watch Surge start out as this like very angry, troubled girl who honestly is even more angry and troubled by the end of it. But she's like, she's found better targets for that anger. And like she knows how to focus it more, and just it's very satisfying. For some,
I also remember this. Yeah, I don't know for me yet. I do remember this being the first time that the X-Men actually did like a school in a traditional kind of sense, where we actually saw them like the squads and the classes and stuff. It was very Harry Potter at the time, so I know that kind of like hit for people. And I know people probably like missed that
too. That was like the squad. I remember at the time, like the squads were really cool. I was really into the squads idea. I didn't like too much of like who was running the squads, like. But I just thought the squads were like a fun thing to do. Which also, now that I think about,
don't mind the whole like New Mutant squad in this team with Sophia Windancer, and like she wants to lead, but she's not that great of a leader. And like what's that boy's name?
Prodigy.
Yes, he wants to they all kind of think he should be the leader because he's like the most strategic with his powers and stuff, and he's kind of like reluctantly taking the role because
it's very Danny and Sam in the early New Mutants era. And that, like, again, I think that was a really nice parallel of this book too, especially having those former New Mutants in the book. It's like, oh, we kind of see them and like how they were back then, the Hellions being the Hellions, Emma's crew, Emma's around being herself. And it's
nasty
fun.
Lady. Yeah. All right, we'll see what's coming up with more of these kids next week. Next week we'll be reading just issues 10 through 12. So check that out and definitely tweet along with us using hashtag AR Book Club or send us any of your comments. I hope you guys have been enjoying going back to school with these kids. Let's take a break and then we'll come right back.
Cool.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to another rewatch. And this week we are going to be discussing the latest installment of the MCU, and that is Thor: Love and Thunder, by Taika Waititi, with starring Chris Hemsworth, and I was gonna call her Jane Foster because I think she was actually pretty good.
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman.
Queen.
And I have to say this. My initial reaction is I think that it is not nearly as bad as the internet is saying. I think that like some people are dragging it. I don't think that it's like that awful of a movie. I think that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is still worse of an MCU movie to me. Mm-hmm. Is it a good MCU movie? No. Mm-hmm. I walked away very underwhelmed. Like, how in the hell do you have a movie with 2 Thors and not have a single memorable fight scene? You have 2 Thors. Nothing.
Let me start out by saying I thought that Natalie Portman is Jane Foster was very cute. And I think that there were some humor elements that she implemented where, especially in the times where she was talking about, oh, I'm working on a catchphrase, or I'm saying this, or I'm saying this other thing. How does that sound? I think that's very true to comics. If you read those early Jane Foster Thor comics, like she was constantly in her head like, oh, does that sound right? Or like, why am I talking like this all of a sudden? And things like that. So I thought that was a very cute callback. I thought her hair looked really good. And
sometimes the wig looked a little big.
I mean, it's the MCU, so like it looked good. And I thought that there was one scene in the movie where they went to the Shadow Realm and the scene cut to black and white. I thought that was like very beautifully shot. I thought that was like some really great storytelling there. I thought like the way we saw the color and the costumes and the lightning and stuff like that looked good. All in all, I thought it was a terrible movie. I went out, I watched it, and I remember in there I was trying to, get into it. I understand what Taika Waititi does. I understand the type of filmmaker he is. I actually enjoy a lot of his stuff, and I think I will still continue to enjoy a lot of his stuff even after this. With this, I just thought it was a terrible movie. I thought so much of the humor was like really ill-placed and ill-timed in it. I thought that a lot of times it took away from the severity of the situation. I didn't really enjoy the way that they did Jane's cancer with Mjolnir, and just like that whole discovery of just like, oh, it's not even like, you're getting your chemo, it's kind of working, then this hammer's doing that's just like, no, the hammer's just like also killing you on top of this. It's like burning you out even faster. I didn't enjoy the Guardians and seeing them at all.
Yeah. I felt like they were only in it just because they were less seen together and they had to be. I don't know.
I did like the little montage that kind of showed the relationship of Thor and Jane. I feel like that's something we never really got to see in the movies in between. So I was like, oh, that's a cute little way. And I was like, and they actually had like really good chemistry in those scenes too.
I did think so too. They did have pretty good chemistry.
I was like, this was really believable. Like, I love that. I love watching it grow. I love watching it grow apart. I was like, it made sense. It tied a lot of those movies together. So shout out to them for doing it.
I believed him every time he said he loved her.
Yeah, it was like, I do too. I didn't enjoy the Tessa Thompson Valkyrie stuff. I don't know. It wasn't hitting for me this time.
You don't like lesbians?
I do, but I just like them here. I mean, I don't know if she is one.
Right. Oh my. Well, no, we guess maybe no. They were like very.
She kissed somebody's hand.
Kissing like a hand, always bringing up her girlfriend who died in the Valkyries, and which I thought was nice, I guess, to kind of have that kind of confirmation. But she was just kind of there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I did. It was like, okay, you ain't need to really be in here. So whatever. That I thought
Right.
that was issues. Um, I didn't enjoy the when they saw Sif, when he found Sif like in the ice and her arms cut off, and she had like that little moment, like that became a little joke, like she just got her arm cut off, and they like cracking jokes. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
that
she's
was
like, "Oh, I'm
weird.
ready to go to Valhalla." He's like, "You survived."
I didn't like it.
I didn't think the humor was bad in this movie. I did think sometimes it went like some of the jokes lasted too long. Like they were
Mm-hmm.
like, right, you could have cut that and move on to the next thing. Almost as if it was like, when you improv something with somebody or y'all just riffing with each other, it's like, all right, we could cut this now. We don't
Yeah,
got to keep going back and forth. Um, but overall, like the humor wasn't terrible. I was expecting it to be like
like it was.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
But
I
I
think
honestly don't remember Guardians of the Galaxy 2 humor. I've tried to like block a lot of that movie out, and I've never watched it. I watched it one more time after it came out just to confirm, and then I was like, oh, I've never watched it
yeah, it's not good.
yet.
And this one, the whole third act, I recognize that I'm old and older, but
hmm
well, like, do we really need Thor powering up all those kids?
Oh my god, that was terrible. It was
Like,
terrible.
what are we doing here?
Like
Like, be serious.
it was so weird. It was weird in the sense that like we just go over how these kids like have no battle prowess. Like some of them aren't even as guardian. Like they don't do this, and then but you give them your power and they just get it anyway. So what was the point of even asking them and going through that whole thing and being like pick something up?
And why are we okay with you having these kids fight these?
Because what if they would have died?
Yes, I would
Weren't you
assume
just
so.
trying
They
to
can't
take them
fight.
back to their parents? I hated that. I did not
And
like that.
if he could always give people powers like that, why wasn't he doing that before? What the hell?
This was a terrible movie. I'm sorry. I didn't enjoy it. But thought I was gonna say something nice just now, but no, that was also going to be something mean. So I'm not going
These
to.
Hercules in that after credit scene looked hot.
Hercules was great. That was banging. Okay,
Looked
that was
hot.
a post-credit scene. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that, and I wasn't expecting that casting either. Like nowhere in the realm of ever doing Hercules. Like did I think of him? But like it was perfect, and he looked great.
Do you remember his name?
The guy from Sense8? No, but I know he looks good.
Hey,
Yeah.
I know him from wait, no, that's not that's I'm actually thinking of a different actor. Never mind. What was his name? I'm gonna Google it.
Okay, Google it. He's hot,
Yeah, for sure.
and he looks good. And I was like, oh yeah, that's Hercules. Miguel Angel Silverstreet. Hercules, Hercules, Hercules.
No, it was Brett Goldstein.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Or was someone else? Never mind, I was wrong. Who's Brett Goldstein?
He is from Ted Lasso.
I've heard really good things about that show. I've never watched it.
I have two actually, and I haven't started watching it, which is weird because
I'm Google.
I
Oh,
think Jason Sudeikis is cute.
oh yeah, they
Yeah,
are.
Brett Goldstein.
He's hot too, so it works for me still.
Yeah,
He looked good.
he looked. I thought he looked great as Hercules. He looked really hot, and to no one's surprise, Hercules has my favorite headpiece in all of Marvel.
Mm.
Like universe. I love that headpiece he has, and he had it in the movie, and I thought that looked really cool.
That's when they
Yeah,
fight.
yeah. Honestly, though, as soon as Hercules popped up, the first thing I thought of was Wonder Man because that's his homie.
Oh,
They're
okay.
like friends.
Oh, so he might show up in like the Wonder Man show.
He probably is. Hercules is the one who Wonder Man quit the Avengers because he wanted to focus on acting because he was afraid, like he was going through his like fear of dying after being resurrected, and he was like, I'm gonna quit the Avengers for a bit and work on acting. And Hercules is the one who's like, oh, I got an agent out in Hollywood. They became friends.
Good for them. Wonder Man and
Yeah.
Hercules. Oh, that means we won't get Beast.
Oh, thank God.
Don't do that
Uh,
to me.
yes.
Did you
But
like
yeah,
Eternity?
the Who?
Eternity.
Oh, that was cool.
I like the
I
way
didn't
that it looked.
necessarily like um the whoever finds eternity gets a wish thing. They made that up.
Yeah.
For the people who aren't aware of like the cosmic corner, that is not how eternity works.
Mhm.
So I didn't really necessarily like that part, but eternity is this big like cosmic thing. You can kind of do whatever you want to with him, so that's fine. I liked the way he looked in it.
Mhm. I liked it too. I didn't like the way it turned into the girl,
Did
and
not need that.
she
Did not
became
need that.
what was the thing from that Avengers event with old man Steve Kobix?
Oh yeah, Kobe. Yeah, who that was they were a reality stone like come to life.
Yeah, that's what this was giving me. And then like the ending when they're like all fighting together, and it was like, oh, they were known as Love and Thunder. I hated that.
I hated it
I
too.
hated it. I hated it.
I hated it when they like gave her powers at the end and like I don't know.
I
I
was
did not
like,
like it.
I like literally in the theater. I went, what?
And I like fun. I love fun,
I was
but
just like, oh no, that was not an enjoyable movie to me. I'm sorry. And again, I really like Taika Waititi and a lot of stuff he did. I'm a big fan of Ragnarok. Like I go up for that movie. But this was not it. And if we are going to get more Thor movies, and they said Thor will return.
you know what? I did like the way that they did that because the post credit scene. Oh, and I'm sorry. Was it the post credit or the mid credit? Whichever credit scene it was. We saw Jane ends up in Valhalla with
Mhm.
because she did end up passing away, and we saw her there. And after that scene is when they say Thor will return. So we don't know if it might be the Mighty
Mhm.
Thor or Odin's son.
It'll be both. We only need one, and it's not Odin's son.
I will admit that uh Jane's girl boss moment, I liked it.
Did you?
I did. I was like, oh, I'm up now. When, she was like, first of all, it's the Mighty Thor. I'm not Lady Thor.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't work. I am Dr. Foster.
Period.
And if
You
that
know,
don't work, take my hammer. And she said,
it's interesting though that she also ends up in Valhalla at the end because like we had commentary earlier from Valkyrie, just about how she was the last Valkyrie, she lost all her sisters and things like that, and we know in the comics Jane does become a Valkyrie with arm and that arm thing, which I do not like, but people love it for some
I
reason.
like it. It's cool.
It's no. I do not understand the appeal of it whatsoever. She should just be Thor. But whatever, like, so it'd be interesting to see if they come back and do like a little bit Mighty Thor for her, or like we hit some Valkyrie stuff.
Hmm. They could do something where they did both, where
Even if Natalie Portman comes back again, I don't know. She a little wishy washy.
that's a good point. But I mean, if the check is right, she might want to come back. I think this time she was like, I'll come back, but I want to have a hammer. I want a cape. So make it do what it do. I want to do all of that stuff too.
I I might have to support this movie though because I wonder. Like you said, I think the movie was terrible, but I don't think it was as terrible as a lot of people on the internet are saying. And I wonder if they're just doing that to be anti-Jane, and I can't stand for that.
They might be. Some people are, they hate women. So
A lot of people do, unfortunately. But
yeah.
I did think the movie was terrible.
Overall, what would you rate the movie?
Out of 5,
Out of 10.
oh, okay, like a 4.
Damn. Are there things below this movie for you in the MCU?
Like movie wise or show wise?
Movie wise.
Eternals is still right there at the bottom.
Mm.
Love and Thunder might just be like just a little bit above it.
I was gonna say the same. Just it's not a lot.
Not a lot, like not a lot. Like and Guardians and Guardians 2 is also down there as well. Like please don't get that twisted. But like Love and Thunder, you know, she ain't far up.
Right. When they handed out tickets in line, it's like y'all are only a couple spaces away.
It's okay. But yeah, definitely. Like those actually, yeah, I think these are probably I think those are my top 3 worst MCU films. Guardians 2, Eternals, Love and Thunder.
That makes sense, yeah. I would have to probably agree with that. I would overall give this movie a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a 6, 5.5, somewhere in there.
All right. Would you watch this again?
No, I would have no reason to.
Okay.
And the thing about it is, I always grade, like, the way I look at these superhero movies is I have like my own like grading scale, and I would say comic book accuracy is important to me, but I'm not a stickler for it coming directly off the page. Like, as long as you keep the spirit of the comic book that you're trying to adapt, or the character that you're trying to adapt, I'm cool with that. General, like, you know, just a cohesive story, you know, that has my attention, and like, was I entertained? And overall, this movie didn't really hit those 3 pillars.
I agree.
So that's kind of where it's landing for me.
I also think I'm about to take off some points because I really thought Hercules was that guy from Sense8, and now that I know it's not, I'm not as excited.
What guy from Sense8?
The hot one, the gay one.
They were all gay.
Well, he was like one of the first gay ones before everybody turned gay. Yes, and he was like really dramatic. Him.
No, he's fine. That's
okay.
Not this dude.
I see that now, and it's like, oh, never mind.
No, that's not him.
Yeah, but that's who I thought it was. But whatever. I don't think I would see this again.
Make a good Living Lightning.
Who?
Never mind. Forget it.
Who is that? Oh, that's that guy. That's that guy you like. Lightning.
Yes.
Living. Yes. No, I know who you're talking about.
He just goes by Lightning.
You like some interesting.
He's probably going to make his way to the MCU eventually. They run out of characters.
He is. Honestly, like at this point now, you could be a new X-Men fan, and your fans are probably going to make it.
Look for that.
They're coming.
All right. Well, let us know what you guys thought about Thor: Love and Thunder. If you liked it a lot more than we did. Or if you also were thinking it wasn't all that great. We love all the comments and appreciate all the love and support. That brings us to the end of the show. Please make sure you rate and subscribe to us. We really appreciate it. You can catch us on Twitter and Instagram at Another Relaunch. You can email us whatever at anotherrelaunch@gmail.com. You can find me on most socials at UncleanLZ. Keenan, where can they find you?
You guys know you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Keenan Lance. As always, there's an underscore at the end.
Boom. All right, y'all. We'll get up out of here and we'll catch y'all next week. Peace out.
And we're going to watch both episodes of Ms. Marvel 5 and 6 since I forgot to watch them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, somebody forgot to watch. So
it was a busy week. It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
We'll save it for next week. Bye, y'all.